Hi, I'm Alex Maya. I'm a senior technical marketing engineer. And in this Lightboard video, I'm going to be talking about scaling enterprise multi-fabric SD-WAN deployments. What I'd like to start off with is actually start talking about some of the challenges we hear some of our large enterprise customers are dealing with when talking about multi-fabric SD-WAN. What we hear is deployments are a little bit difficult when we want to actually bring up a branch location quickly as possible. Then we also hear about the manageability. We have heard various customers talk to us about various tools that they need to use to make that happen. And then we start noticing that the security perimeter starts diminishing a little bit quicker when we start scaling out, which brings us to the last challenge, which is the scalability factor. When you start talking about mergers and acquisitions, the Internet of Things, remote workers, now creating smaller branch locations. So to help address this are 4 offerings that we have within Orchestrator. Our Orchestrator is our single glass pane of manageability, which is very flexible and very secure. And those 4 offerings are the on-prem, the Orchestrator as a service. We also have Global Enterprise GE, and then we also have the Service Provider SP. Global Enterprise and Service Provider SP are our multi-fabric, multi-tenant. They're basically identically the same. I'm not going to be talking too much about the Service Provider, but keep in mind it's very similar to the Global Enterprise. I'm going to start off with on-prem because what I want to do is work my way up to show you and demonstrate how we can actually help you with single tenancy all the way to multi-tenancy or multi-fabric solution here. And so in my first case that I have here drawn out is that I have an SD-WAN with an on-prem Orchestrator. And this is a single tenant. And with a single tenant Orchestrator, I do have the ability to configure my business intent overlays. This is where we intelligently steer our traffic either to the internet, which is to our SaaS applications in the cloud, our providers, and as well as our security. But we also have routing capabilities built into this as well too. And we also have a next generation firewall, all done within the Orchestrator. So we can actually have firewalls within the EdgeConnect appliances in here, as well as being able to connect to our security. And if we needed to connect to our cloud provider, adding an EdgeConnect Orchestrator would be as simple as deploying it with our one-click connect within the Orchestrator to be able to reach up to the connection. And if we need to break out with our first packet IQ intelligence, we're able to actually configure that through the on-prem Orchestrator to be able to reach to those SaaS applications. Now, as we scale this out, and as I mentioned earlier, we were talking about mergers and acquisitions, we notice that there's a lot of times separate types of networks. That's why I have an SD-WAN 1 and an SD-WAN 2. If I take this configuration here for the SD-WAN 1, for this tenant, on SD-WAN 2, I can now actually bring this into our business unit here and deploy it by using Orchestrator as a service. Orchestrator as a service is an actual Orchestrator that lives in the cloud, also single tenant. But what's unique and different about this for our customers is that we have the ability to actually have it be managed by the actual customer. And again, it gives us the same ability with the BIOS, just as what we had on the on-prem, the routing capabilities, as well as the actual firewall configurations. And we can also create those configurations up to security and also be able to do the same up into the SaaS clouds. So we keep the consistency and similarities between an on-prem or Orchestrator as a service, which makes it a very attractive feature for our customers. Now, with things have changed in the network, we start noticing the scalability where we need to grow this out. One of the things to keep in mind is that when we start talking about on-prem and Orchestrator as a service, we have the ability to support up to 3,000 EdgeConnect appliances per Orchestrator. A lot of our customers are scaling this out. We need to start looking at the ability to increase this. And so we start bringing in the configuration for Orchestrator as a service, which is the multi-fabric Orchestrator here. This gives us now the ability to see all those orchestrators that we have as tenants so we can actually manage it from a single glass pane of manageability that we're so used to seeing within these configurations. So now as we increase this configuration here, there are different ways that we can treat this now within our multi-fabric network. We can actually take these as separate SD-WANs if we wanted to and have multi-tenant capability for this multi-fabric here, or several of our customers have decided to configure this with different business units, right? So we can have a separation of business units, different networks, but still be managed within one single orchestrator. So in this case here, if I were to actually deploy that one single orchestrator here for that connectivity, now I'd be able to just pull in and deploy the bioinformation, such as firewall configurations that we're so used to configuring from Orchestrator as a Service or the on-prem configuration. And this is very similar with Service Provider Orchestrator SP. So to wrap this up here, what are the benefits of this configuration? Well, now I have an ease of deployment, right? On-prem or Orchestrator as a Service, they all follow the same scenario with zero-touch provisioning. A centralized management. Centralized management from any of these orchestrator instances that are deployed actually will show me the dashboard visibility, live view, analytics, so I have a better view of my actual network and the health status of my network. The security factor also plays a very important piece. I still have the ability to manage my next generation firewall that's built into these WANs, or I can actually still create that security to be able to break out and use our third-party integration that we have built in, or our service orchestration that's built into our orchestrator. And then last is the elastic scale. As you see me grow from the on-prem single tenant all the way across to the multi-fabric tenant using our orchestrator GE. And thank you. And for more information, please go to arubanetworks.com.